Hey, how's it going, guys? Nate here, and with E3 2016 literally just a couple of days away, people are wondering what Bethesda's booth is going to bring, seeing as Bethesda does have a booth at E3, and they gotta show off something, but nobody really knows what, you know? I mean, they've already released Fallout 4, and they haven't really confirmed anything else coming out just yet, so it's likely they're gonna reveal a new project. And in this video, I'm gonna argue and suggest that that new project is going to be a Skyrim Remaster. Now, to be clear, this is not my own, I'm not the only one suggesting this. A lot of people have come out with videos, citing sources and whatnot, suggesting, hey, this is a very plausible thing. And in the interest of not just regurgitating what everyone else is saying, I'd also like to kind of present a few arguments of what I think Skyrim would be like, and how it would be a little bit different in a remastered version, and what it'd have extra, rather than just what the original was fielding. But first things first, before we jump any metaphorical guns, we're going to talk about why a Skyrim remaster is one of the more plausible things we can be expecting from Bethesda's side of the ring. So, about a year ago, when asked about Fallout 4's development and how that got started, Bethesda's Todd Howard came out and revealed a pretty interesting piece of information that was previously unknown. He came out and said that development for Fallout 4 was kickstarted after the team at Bethesda finished developing and rebuilding Skyrim from the ground up on the Xbox One. Now, he was very quick to mention that the community shouldn't jump to any conclusions or quote-unquote get excited just yet, but he said that the team was developing the Skyrim Remaster really just to test the limitations on the new console's hardware, and from there they went on to develop Fallout 4, which is pretty interesting because he was also clear to mention that they had really almost completed this hypothetical Skyrim Remaster that they were designing supposedly just for testing purposes. So with this information, despite Todd Howard's very strong warnings, we can actually draw quite a few conclusions from this statement. Now, they had basically almost completed a Skyrim Remaster about a year ago. It's been a year since Fallout 4's release, and they've had that much time to work with it and polish it up should they be anticipating a release for it, which would be pretty amazing. It seems like the time frames kind of add up here. Furthermore, also backing this Skyrim Remaster theory, is that Fallout 3, one of the most popular Bethesda games ever, was made forwards compatible for the Xbox One through Microsoft's Xbox One backwards compatibility program. Now, while Fallout 3's gameplay is pretty fantastic, that's not really of significance for this video. What is, though, is the message it sends. Bethesda allowing Microsoft to use Fallout 3 and make it forwards compatible on the Xbox One shows that Bethesda's really pretty much okay with Microsoft using their games and making them forwards compatible. They don't really have a problem with that, apparently, as they allowed them to use one of their most successful and highly popular titles to be made forwards compatible. Now, if this is the case, it sends a message, though. It says, hey, how come they haven't done it with Skyrim just yet, you know? I mean, people have been begging for this title to be released and made forwards compatible for the Xbox One for some time. Actually, when the feature first came out, Microsoft had this page where you could suggest titles for them to make forwards compatible, and Skyrim was the top featured one for a good few months, and I think it might still be, actually. So, how come Microsoft hasn't done Skyrim just yet if Bethesda's so okay with them doing this? Well, the obvious answer to this question is that, hey, maybe they haven't finished making it ready yet, you know? Maybe Skyrim's just requiring a little bit of time, maybe Microsoft's a bit distracted, maybe they need to just put a little bit more time in there, and then they'll make it ready. They haven't pimped it up just yet. Well, this is apparently just not the case at all, because when Microsoft first came out and revealed backwards compatibility for the Xbox One, they said that the first game they tested this out with to make sure it worked, and the game that they got ready for it was Skyrim. They had Skyrim ready to go via the backwards compatibility system, as it was the first one they had, yet they still didn't release it to the public. Again, this being despite massive outcry for the game being made backwards compatible. Now, this has a bit of a paradox here, right? Because we know Bethesda's okay with Microsoft using their games for backwards compatibility, and we know Microsoft has it ready to go, and we know the community really wants it coming out, yet for whatever reason, Skyrim still has yet to be made backwards compatible on the Xbox One, or I guess you should say forwards compatible. Well, as in my opinion, as well as many other people in the community are theorizing and speculating on, that the only real solution to this quote-unquote paradox that we kind of have going on here is that Bethesda is actually planning to release that remastered version of Skyrim that they already have done, mind you, to the general public, and they don't want the original version of Skyrim to be made forwards compatible on the Xbox One, as that would kind of corrupt and hinder sales a bit. So they're telling Microsoft, hey, don't make this game forwards compatible. We have a remastered version coming. We don't want you to mess up our sales just yet. And I think that's a very likely thing that we might have going on, and it might be what Bethesda's planning on revealing at E3. Wouldn't it be amazing? You're sitting there in a booth or something, you're watching the video online, and you hear the Skyrim music going on, like the Dova King, Dova. I'm not great at singing, but you get the idea, right? I presented the atmosphere to you, so to speak. But anyway, that really concludes what evidence we have for a Skyrim remaster, and kind of by default, that's what I'm personally expecting. We don't really have any significant arguments that can be made for Bethesda really working on anything else. We've got little evidence to go against this Skyrim remaster, so by default, I'm kind of anticipating one. But that's not all we want to talk about in this video. We're not done just quite yet. Now we get to the fun stuff as to what a Skyrim remaster would look like. And the big point of emphasis that I want to make here is modding, because oh my god, would this not be amazing. Imagine, so we already know Bethesda can do this with consoles, right? They can already port mods over and make them ready to go on console platforms quite well. Imagine that. Imagine a Skyrim remaster for the Xbox One, PS4, with mods running on it, not just on the PC. That would be pretty spectacular in my opinion. You've got HD visuals that look pretty much just as good as Fallout 4, combined with a similar modding experience and a similar scene that's arguably quite bigger than Fallout 4's at the moment, as thousands and thousands of mods have been made ready for Skyrim in the original version, which also begs another question. Would they be able to port like original version mods over to the remaster easily? Like, what would have to be done there? That I have a lot of questions about. It's possible that the modding community may have to kind of work and build back from the ground up again, but even then, I'd still think that'd be a very small price to pay for a Skyrim remaster, in my own opinion. Another big thing that I've been wondering about is what Bethesda could do with DLC, you know? Bethesda's never really remastered anything that I can put my finger on, so it'd be interesting to see how seriously Bethesda will take this and what routes they're willing to go. Would they actually consider adding in Skyrim DLC? I think that'd be an interesting choice, and it interests me. I'm not saying I really want this done, to be quite honest, because I feel like that might be seen as a cash grab, and like, you know, the modding scene does this quite well, but it also could be pretty interesting, you know? Maybe we could go to a new, like, entire island, kind of like how the Dragonborn DLC did, allowing us to go to Solstheim. Maybe they could create another island we can go to. Maybe we can go to a different part of Tamriel, so to speak. I don't know. There's a lot of avenues Bethesda could take with this hypothetical remaster, and oh my god, I hope they announce it at E3 this year. Anyways, guys, my name is Nate. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like if you liked, dislike if you disliked, and I hope to see you in my next one. Peace out, everybody.